Happy Memorial Day. Just not feeling myself today for some reason. But I told you I'd do the car vlog. I'm not going to be able to go down to the beach. We're going to have to wait till this crowd gets out of here. When I went to Labyrinth walking last night, yesterday evening, it was terrible. Like, there's bikes everywhere, there's people everywhere, and I have to go run a few errands. And I'm not going down to the beach though, so I think I'll be okay where I'm going. I'll have to do that, try to get the ocean in there some other time. I think that'll be fun. I should have cut my bangs. I cut my hair this morning, just not much, just about an inch. This shirt is too big, so get on my dang nerves. It's just too big. There's a lot I don't want to talk about that happened with the reading. I could just tell you, so I'll tell you some things. I mean, a lot of them's personal, and it's just not stuff I want to put on YouTube. I learned my lesson about doing that, and a lot of it that I was putting in public was just trying to get someone's attention that was missing. Because sometimes you can't get people's attention unless you make them mad. And at least if they respond, they're alive. So anyway, I'm just not nothing. So there was a lot she didn't bring up at all that I felt like probably would have been brought up, but I don't know. She said, mediums will say they're not taught, the ones that I've seen and the things that I've read, they're not talking to this person. This person is showing them things, and they're reading it. She said my mom came in, and she was on the other side, but she was there. And then later, she said Karen was there, which was my best friend that I lost in 2013. And she just said a lot of things. Like, I'll just try to give you some examples. I think it's kind of got me down, and I don't want to get too deep in it. My mom and Karen. Now, I have not told this woman a lot of anything. My mom and Karen both told me, it was a very, very, first thing she said was, Karen was very adamant, and she said she wants you to know this. She wants you to know that she is sorry. She knows that you were there for her, and she's sorry if she was snippy or anything, and she wanted you to know that. Now, Karen really was like that. If she apologized, she would get in your face, and she would make it very, very clear. She wouldn't say, like, sorry. She would get in your face. Karen was very bold, and she would look you in the eyes, and she would say, I apologize, I shouldn't have done that. And I told that lady, I said, well, no, she wasn't really snippy with me. She too much, but I knew she was sick. And, and she said, well, she just wants you to know that if you felt like that, or she didn't express her gratitude, she knows you were there for her, and she wants you to know that she's sorry if she didn't show that. And I said, well, that's kind of understandable. She said, sorry, Al, this is probably not going to be the best vlog I've ever done. She said to tell you that you're her sister. And one thing, when we were going through all this, Karen does have a sister, Sandy. And one thing we all said, because they're towards the beginning of the end, when she was still able to go out, it was us three, and they said I was their other sister. And like, we said it all the time. And I told her that. I said, yeah, her and Sandy both said I was their sister. She said, no, You were her sister. She said, even though she had other siblings, and she did, she had a brother too, but I didn't even say that. She said, even though she had other siblings, there was issues, and there was. There was something that she told me when her and I got really, really close that she said she would never forgive Sandy for, her sister. And she said she sweeps it under the rug because they're family. She said, but she would never forgive her for it. And so Charlotte, which is the medium, said, even though she has other siblings, you were her sister. There was a lot going on with her and the other, and like her brother didn't even come to hospice when she was dying. And it wasn't that, I think it was because he just didn't want to see it. It wasn't that they were fighting. I just think he distanced himself, and that's how he handled it. And what else? Her and my mom, she said that her and my mom both were all in her ear telling me to go follow my heart because that's where I'm going to be happy. And she said Karen is like, WTF are you doing? And she said that my mom said she knew and she understood why I left North Carolina. She said because that's how she handles things. And I didn't leave North Carolina like on purpose, like I'm running from the law. I had to get away from the situation. I had to put distance between myself and the situation that I couldn't deal with. And so I knew I needed to be on this side of Wilmington. And it just so happened, and I was looking on this side of Wilmington all the way to Myrtle Beach, and it just so happened that this was the condo I liked. This was the condo, and I love my condo. Don't ever get me wrong. I just don't like living here. And she said that my mom said she could tell that, and I mean, she's like pausing and thinking and trying to get it out in words and closing her eyes. And she said that my mom said that she could tell that I had, and she was trying to explain it. She said, you're not what you're not. And I said, I'm lost. And she said, exactly. And I said, yeah, I have been for about 2 years at least. And she said, you're single. And I never told her I was single. And I actually had my mom's ring, and some of you have seen it in a video. It almost looks like this one on my ring finger, like a wedding. It could be a wedding ring, because that's the finger that it fits. And I took that with me, and just so I'd have something with my mom's. And I took Karen's hospice angel that I kept, and so it looked like I was married, and I'd never told her any different. And she said, you're single? And she said, you're single? And I said, yeah. She said, well, your mom is wanting you to know that there is what you're looking for, but you're going to have to follow your heart because that's where it's at. And she said, and you won't find it until you do, and then you're going to be happy. And she wants that for you because she feels like you're lonely, and she doesn't want that for you. And I know, if you're believing all this and you're following all this and everything, I would know why my mother would say that, because the way that I have shut down and I have shut people out of my life is kind of what my mom did. And I think that my mom wasn't happy. And I think and she knows that, and she's trying to say that I need to follow my heart and get out, and then I'll be happy. And she doesn't want what she did for me, because basically, I mean, I think about it all the time. I'm kind of doing what my mom did. I mean, she had friends. I've got friends. But let me tell you something. My friends I have had for 20, 30 years, probably some more than 30 years. And if I don't get, I've had 4 good girlfriends here in Myrtle Beach. If I don't get extremely good vibes, if they're just, I mean, I've never hung out with anybody that did drugs, but, if they're just like bar to bar to bar hopping. You know, I'm not a bar hopper. Gosh, I think the last time I drank anything was when I went to Holden Beach about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Hung out with my North Carolina friends, and I think I had like 2 shots. I was there for about 6 hours, drank a bunch of water, drove home. I mean, we ate too, so I'm not a drinker. So anyway, and my mom wasn't in. My mom didn't drink at all, ever. Like, I don't even think my grandma did. My dad didn't drink. I wasn't raised. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with drinking, okay? I'm just telling you my life, my story. So she said that her and Karen both were agreeing get out. And I said, I'm trying, and I kind of explained the condo situation and the HOA situation to her, and she said, don't, and I've lowered my listing price $20,000 in the past 3 or 4 months, and she said, your condo will sell. She said, be patient. She said, and don't lower the price again. And you know, honestly, my condo is low now. It is low, but our HOA is really high, and that's why. And I would not blame somebody for not buying into that, but that's just how it is. And I'm trapped. There's nothing I can do about that. And so, and I kind of explained that to her. She said that Karen said she's at my house with me a lot. She didn't say that about my mom. Either way, like either way, nothing. And that would make sense. I'll just leave it like that. It would just kind of make sense. What are you doing, dude? Let's just sit here. People. Okay. Let's see. Trying to think what else. This is random, y'all, because it's just I went home and wrote all this down, and it's like 4 pages because I was afraid I'd forget it, and I wanted it to be fresh in my mind. And she said Karen's worried about your back door. And I said, she said, does that mean anything to you? I said, no. And she said, something's loose, something fell off. No, she said, do you have a back door? Because I guess some people don't in a condo. I said, yeah, I got 3 back doors. That was one of my things when I bought a condo. There is a back exit. There's back steps and everything because I'm upstairs. And she said, I said, yeah, I got 3 back doors. And she said, she's showing me something's loose, something's wrong, and she's worried about that. And I said, oh my God, about 3 weeks ago, I was outside, and my back sliding glass doors, there's 2 of them, are very heavy. I mean, they are heavy, and I mean, like, you got to have a muscle just to close it. And the handle, which is a big old handle, came off in my hand. And here's the thing about it, the screws, this is going to be a long story. The screws that were holding it on were still on there, and they're bigger than the handle, so I don't know how the handle came off. Like, before I could put the handle back on, I had to take those screws off because you couldn't push the handle back on. The screws were in the way. So I don't know how it came off. I have no idea. And I told her that. I was like, oh my God. You know, that was like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. And put it back on, put it back together. She said, no, but she said it's still loose. And it is. It's not loose because I just the other day when I was closing the door and using the outside handle, I felt it. And it's jiggly loose. And I noticed it when I grabbed it, and I looked down at it to see if it was coming off of those screws anymore, and it's not. I mean, I guess it's just because I didn't tighten it up. And I said, yeah, it's a little bit jiggly, but not much. She said, yeah. She said, watch that. She said, Karen's worried about that. I mean, there was more about Karen than there was my mom. But we did talk about my mom some, and I'm not going to get into that. I mean, it wasn't bad or anything. What? I didn't turn. on here? I'm trying to think. There was a lot. Oh, one thing she said, who's Bernice? I said, Bernice. I'm thinking great aunt, because you know, like your great aunts will have like, you know, different names and stuff like that. Like I had Aunt Sadie. You don't hear anybody named Sadie anymore, and I'm thinking Bernice. Who's Bernice? And she said, Bernice. She said, Bernice. She said, Bernice, Bernie. Oh my God. Bernie's my ex. Ugh. And listen, I don't nothing to do with him. We don't communicate. We're not on Facebook. Nothing. And she said, yeah. She said, watch out, because you're I think she said your mom. I believe she said your mom said watch out because he may just pop up. Well, it's weird, very weird that she said that, because he has done that twice before, but not here. He doesn't know where I'm at now. He knew where my house in New London was, and he did do that twice in New London, but not now. I'm thinking there is no way he could find me. Ew, gross, y'all. He was a jerk. Let's see what else. She was she saw a male figure, and she said, George. No. Now, my grandfather's brother's name was George, and Charlotte said, well, me and you are about the same height. Let me just park here. She said, me and you are about the same height. This guy, whatever she was seeing was a little bit taller. She said, and she was sitting there, and she said, he's bald. You know, and I'm thinking, I don't know. I don't know a George. And she said, nope. And then she said, it's not George. But she couldn't. And then she said that he stood back and let my mom and Karen have front. She said he could just be she said like a guardian angel, which would be G. And she said that he wanted me to know that he was with me all the time. But we don't know who it was. And she said sometimes you don't know who they are. They could be anybody. What else, y'all? My mind's just not here today at all. What else? I know she gave me a couple looks a couple times when we were talking about my mom. She said, you know, she's like, your mom went, yeah. And when she did it, that is exactly how my mom did it. And one time she said that Karen said, same shit, different day. And that's exactly what Karen would say. She said, because she said, Karen's a pistol. I said, yeah, she is. I'm not even in a package, y'all. This is my my oil. I told you I was getting the EOS Cashmere Body Oil. It was in my mailbox when I was leaving. Let's see what kind of mess we can make. I don't want to forget to tell you this. Something else may pop in my head. Yeah, I don't want to taste it. But one of the last things that she said was, she said, are you wanting to open your own business? She said, what is that about? And I said, well, yeah, I have had my own business, but I'm not going to do anything in Myrtle Beach. I'm not, roots, nothing. I'm not even looking for a boyfriend. And I have had, a lot of you don't even know this, but I had a serious boyfriend here for about almost 3 years. And we are not together anymore. He's a great guy. He's like a male version, a male Natalie. He's freaking awesome. We did not split up because of me or him. I ended things because I could not deal with his ex-wife. She was crazy. She was stalking him. She was putting trackers on his car. I mean, it was on. She was stopping in 1 o'clock in the morning in an intersection, sitting in her car waiting for him to go by, and she would harass him. She was making it hard for him to see his kids, and I just, you can't take that sometimes when it's that bad, and it was horrible. So that's why we broke up. But anyway, nothing was said about that. But I told her, I said, I'm not even looking because I don't want any ties to Myrtle Beach. And what else? Oh, I'll tell you this while I'm thinking about it. It was kind of one of the last things that she said. Oh, about the business. She said, well, your mom's wanting you to know, you need to go with that, whatever it is, and you need to put everything into it and don't give up. Put your heart and soul into it. They want you to be happy and do anything and everything you can to get there. And I said, well, it's just moving back to North Carolina. That's step one. And she said, yeah. She said, and that's where you're gonna be fulfilled again. She said, basically, your mom thinks you're empty, which would probably describe me. Yeah. My Holy Grail, LA Colors glazed donut. But the last thing she said that I can't remember right now. One of the last things, like, I think it was even kind of over. There was nothing said, nothing on me, no marks on me, no limp, no anything, and nothing. And she said, we were talking about something, and she kind of just sat there and she said, what's wrong with your left knee? That got me more than anything, because I said, oh my God. I said, you would not believe this. I said, but literally, I wear a sleeve on my left knee because my meniscus is torn. They just told me if they did surgery on it where it's at, it's going to tear again. So I said, but wearing the sleeve just the past couple months has helped me tremendously. I wear it all the time. I sleep in it. And I've learned what to do with my knee and what not to do. And one of the what not to do's is try to stretch it out straight or hyperextend it. That makes it hurt. And she said, I said, but I don't wear it when I go out. I said, I'm not ashamed to wear it. I've been plenty of places with that thing on my knee. But they do not want you to wear those sleeves all the time, because they want your muscles to, you can't lose muscle in your leg, because your knee's going to get worse, because that's what holds your knees up. So anytime I leave the house, I take it off. And that's just my thing. And I just wear it. I sleep in it. And so far, that has worked for like 2 months. And she said, your mom said to keep doing what you're doing. I said, okay. I said, well, it's not hurting right now. I mean, sometimes I can feel it. Sometimes I can feel it even with the thing on. But this knee, I don't know if I ever said it in a video or not, but this knee was waking me up at night. Literally waking me up. It hurts so bad, and that's bad pain for me, because that wouldn't wake me up, unless it was really bad. But I can't believe she said that. But she said she did. She said my mom said to keep doing what I was doing and stay on it and stay with that. And I guess saying that she knew that what I was doing was right. When I first had these knee problems and stuff like that, I was doing some wrong things. And I was trying to do squats. That hurts it. I can't do my stair climber. That hurts it. I can't sit on the floor with my knees straight out and touch my toes. I can, but that hurts my knee. I can't do anything like that right now, because that's too much on the meniscus and it's pulling it back out. So what I'm doing now, by not stretching it and all that, and just I'm doing some glute exercises and stuff, because they said that's the best for holding your knee up, because that's really where it all starts. So, and it doesn't affect your knee. And I've been doing that for about a month, and then the sleeve for probably 2 months. And I even knocked on wood in there. I said, knock on wood, it is not bothering me like it was. It was bad. I said, out of all the times that it's been really, really bad. I mean, I've had 2 cortisone shots in it. They helped for like 2 weeks, and I didn't get a third. It just, it wasn't helping. It wasn't doing anything. And but out of all the times, I said, I live upstairs. I said, there's probably been 10, 12, 14 days in different time periods that day there was no way I could have gotten down my stairs. I hope that didn't cut me off. I just saw something. No, I don't think it did. I don't know what that. I bet it was a message. Like if I would have had to get down my stairs, had to get down my stairs that day, like emergency or something like that, I literally would have had to just drop and roll. I couldn't bend my knee. I couldn't pick it up. It was so painful. So painful. And the only way I can describe that is a knife in your meniscus and you can't move it. I mean, it's bad. It doesn't even hurt right now. I don't have my sleeve on either. Now, when I get home in probably about 3 hours, I'll put my sleeve back on. But, I don't know. Some of that stuff that she hit on the head, I mean, I just feel like there's no way, it's weird. Some of the way that she was saying things, and like I said, the facial expressions and stuff, and the way that she said something that Karen said or my mom said, it's kind of spot on with what look at that shirt sticking up in the back. It's stop. But it's spot on with how their personality. And yeah, and there's a lot more, but like I said, that's stuff that's not too personal that I can just tell you that's what happened. And we talked for a while and everything, and I was upset, of course. I know. I don't think she said anything that my mom said. I can't remember now if she said my mom said she visited me or not. I don't think so. She said that Karen said that she spent a lot of time at my house. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna go. I gotta go in here and do some stuff. But thanks for watching. I hope next time I have a cheerful video. I'm sorry this is not cheerful. I'm just not myself today. Totally. But I'm trying to make the best of it. It's Memorial Day. Did I say Happy Memorial Day? I'm just running a few errands today, and then I'm just going home. Probably go to the gym tomorrow. I need to start walking in the evenings. And Monkey, sorry. Ugh. We talked a lot about Monkey in my sessions. That's why I got Monkey on the brain. She said oh, I think this cut me off. She said Monkey was with my mom, which surprised me. And I told her that. I said, because Karen was really, really close to Monkey. Because me and Karen were so close. And Karen loved Monkey. I said, I've got so many pictures of her holding Monkey. And she said that Monkey was with my mom. But my mom loved animals. And that was my mom. So that was her grand dog. But Pistachio has a stroller. That's what I was trying to say. So when it cools off, right before dark, maybe I'll get out and walk about 20 minutes today because I've got to start walking. So anyway, hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon and hopefully be in a better mood. Bye.